Nigeria, giant of Africa, Nigeria we want. All for the land. Where's Nigeria? The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show, yeah, me show the moon. Wale your light on. I've been see what shuku. The Nigeria we want. Where's Nigeria? On Vicky O Show every Saturday. The Nigeria we want. Where's Nigeria? Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Where's Nigeria?
Hello. This is Dr. Vicky O Show. You're welcome to the Nigeria We Want on Vicky O Show. It's all about the way things are in Nigeria and the way forward. My panelists will soon be here, and we will get things started. So I just would like to welcome you to the show. Earlier on, like an hour ago, I actually did a live show on Facebook, a Facebook Live actually, to talk about couple of opportunities available to our viewers tonight to win something. So today, one of our sponsors of the show is actually giving away this. This is a beautifully packed skin product called Jomila Australia. It's a youthful looking skin ingredients that we all need. I mean, since they've been supplying us, this is what I use for my face, for my hands, and I see the effect. So here we've got 4 of these to give away. So if you're in Melbourne or anywhere actually in Australia and you want one of this, why don't you make a comment on today's show and somebody will contact you. So that's just what I would like to offer today. Also, so help us to say thank you to Jomila Australia for their generosity. We have a box full of this skin product. It's $79.99 recommended retail price. So it's not cheap, $80. And it works really well. So that's just one of our sponsors doing great things in Australia and supplying all over Asia. The skin product. Now, the second people we would like to actually highlight, because they made it possible for us to do this. They are called Provision GSH Plus. It's all about your health. Your health is your wealth. My health is my wealth. It's getting it right and doing, making sure we are looking after ourselves, especially now with COVID in the air. You don't even know who has it, who doesn't. So GSH Plus has been tested, has been proven to help protect us and look after us within us. So GSH Plus, just check them out. How is your energy? Do you struggle with having restful sleep? How is your immune system? Do you struggle with stress, concentration, and mental fatigue? GSH Plus is your answer. It's the answer that you need, because the ingredients contained in GSH Plus formula may support your immune system, optimize your strength and energy, and it can empower your daily living. Provision GSH Plus can be ordered through the link we've provided. So that is all about GSH Plus. Have a look here. We won't talk about something that we are not familiar with, that we haven't tried, we haven't tested. So here it is here. GSH Plus, it's got zinc, it's got other things to help boost your immune system. So if you're interested, if you want to give it a try, why don't you send an email to Vicky O Show at gmail.com, and somebody will definitely get back to you. So welcome to tonight's show, and join me to welcome our panelist, Mr. Wale Olaiton. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be back.
Now we need you to increase your volume, please. All right. So, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me
You're
loud
still,
and clear?
yeah, that's a bit better.
It's
Much
better.
better.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome,
so
welcome to the show.
thank you.
Yeah. And Mr. Elvis Nwachukwu Igbokwenu. We can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. What's going on this evening? Why is everyone so quiet? We can't hear you. All right. While we wait for Elvis to fix his audio, how have you been? What's been going on in your hood?
Yeah, it's been a busy week, and there's a lot happening. The lockdown, continues. We're not sure whether we're going to be out of the lockdown by next week. So there's still a lot of expectation around whether the lockdown will continue or maybe we're going to be out after 2nd of September. Um, and there's a lot happening in Nigeria in terms of a lot of issues, social political issues, from the presidential slash royal wedding and all the talks around that. Why we wish the young couple all the very best in their marriage. There's also a lot of talk around, how
Yes, please.
flamboyant it was
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
terms of that wedding and how, you think about it, like the president that prides himself so much about, uh, being a very, good economic manager, you know,
Mm,
and also, in his personal life, he presents himself as someone that, won't spend money anyhow, but the wedding is anything but uh, anything like that. It was quite, flamboyant in every sense of it. And also, we talk about, the insecurity issues, that's been going on. You talk about,
mm,
the attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy, an institution that is so the symbol of national defense. The attack
mm,
on that institution on Tuesday by bandits and the associated issues around that. So there's a lot going on, as obviously
too much.
at
Mm,
international level. There's the beginning of the Paralympics, which I'm
mhm.
sure Nigeria is represented at the events, and
Are you
obviously,
sure? Are you sure we have representative there?
yeah, no, yeah, I saw the opening ceremony briefly,
Okay. Yep.
so we have representatives at the ongoing Paralympics
Mm,
games. Yeah.
mm. Elvis, are you able to talk now? Is it working? Ah, still not working. Okay, it's trying to connect through another device. Elvis Wachuku.
Is it better now?
We can hear you. What happened now?
Oh no, I've had to dial in using my phone. That was my computer. I don't know
Oh,
what
the village people, they are trying to
they are trying to.
yeah, they are trying to hack.
Yeah. God pass them. We always
Go past them, or go past them.
yeah,
Well, well.
we always find a way to to overcome. So yeah,
Have
that's
you?
what we just done. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, how was the royal wedding that you attended?
Um.
The royal, the presidential wedding.
Oh yeah, the wedding was filled with pomp and pageantry, and I, of course, you saw me on TV. I sat in the front row, and
I did.
oh my,
So we just want the first hand gist. We don't want the pass around gist. That's why. So
I
when
know.
you receive your souvenir and you saw the iPad and the the latest iPhone and the other things and everything that you receive going to like 1.7 million naira
I
just
just
per one per person.
yeah, I thought it was quite quite little as given the caliber of this individual who was actually having this wedding. It could have been more. I mean, in a country where people can't feed three times
Can't
daily,
feed themselves, yes.
it
So, souvenir, 1.8 million naira per
yeah.
person. Only God knows. So, how many people were there? How many of you were guests? Over 1,000 people?
Oh, maybe more.
Maybe more. All right. So, 1.7 million times, let's just be reasonable, or let's just be, 1.7 million times 1,000 people.
Yeah, no.
So, just
You
on
do
souvenir. Hmm. 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 All
that.
right.
Yeah. So Vicky,
Naija go better.
I know I'm gonna switch off. I think the lightning is better on my computer. I'll use the audio on the phone, and then I use
Yes.
it on my computer. That's what
All
I'll
right.
do. Turn off
Let's
this.
let's do that. Okay. All right.
So you let me in. Trying to come in now.
Yep. All right. Ooh,
Oh, and then we're gonna have interference. Okay, is it better?
it's better. Yes.
Okay. All right.
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So mm, without even calling it that, we've been talking about updates. So Wale started with the royal wedding, and you actually shared with us, your being there and sharing in the cake. So, yes, Wale also mentioned a few other things that happened. Nigeria, there's never ever a time when there is no drama.
I
And what do
know.
you expect from a country of over 200 million people? But it would have been a great thing if all this attention, all these talks and everything is directed towards positive. Egbon, you are finally welcome. After playing Obasanjo Aremu for you are welcome. You are even looking more like him now.
Who's there today? I'm also there.
We've missed you.
It's good to be back. I'm sorry. I actually today I had to sneak out of the rehearsal for this because we are running a remote tomorrow.
Okay.
I heard
But
that.
I
I heard
needed
that.
at least spend some time with you, a few minutes with you,
Thank you.
because I've met you guys like Kilo Day.
I know.
Honestly, we missed you too.
We missed
We've
you.
talked about COVID and vaccine. What else have we talked about? We've talked about the vice president and some people that want him to be the president this time around.
But that
What
one, that particular one, I'm happy I wasn't around.
why, why, if I may ask? Egbon?
I won't tell you why. I'm a year.
Easy escape.
All right. So, what is there anything else that I missed? That Egbon missed also.
Um, I think we've covered, obviously. We miss him, and obviously, getting issues from his angle and from his perspective. Yeah, I think apart from the topics you mentioned, we've covered a lot of topics in the last 3 to 4 weeks that Ekpon, has been on the set for Aremu. So yeah, you welcome back, Ekpon. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Prof.
Professor Wale Olaitan.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, as it's called, Omo Yeri. I'm not sure about that.
So yeah, what is the update from your hand? We talked just before you joined us. We're talking about the royal / presidential wedding that happened a week ago. And fortunately for us, Elvis was able to represent us. He was sitting actually in the front row, according to him.
No wonder. I saw his private jet actually.
And he was one of the people that received the 1.8 million naira worth of souvenirs, iPad, iPhone, and other things. So we were talking about that in a country where we have people struggling to put food on their table, and now on one wedding, I mean, the souvenir they spent over, I mean, a billion naira. Billion naira worth of souvenirs. It's just, where's our priority? So we've talked about that. Any other updates, Egbo?
Let me talk about the arts.
Yes.
Because just yesterday we lost 2 prominent members of that industry. Yes, it's unfortunate, really. Victor Lighton, we lost him.
Oh.
Yes, we lost Victor Lighton. We also lost the chairman of the board of trustees of Actors Guild. We lost him too. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. Over the week also, we had tribute night for Rachel Oniga, another very prominent member of So we are just praying for protection over all others, so that we can, yes, we're praying for that. But outside that, I'll tell you, it's more like horse trading now when it comes to kidnapping and all that. It's more of a horse trading thing. We pick them today, we negotiate price, release some of them the day after, renegotiate price, and release or keep them and all that. It's a very, very sad thing. It's a very, very sad thing that we are battling with here. And when I look at what has happened in some other nations that have gone this route, I'm a bit scared. But we'll keep going and we keep hoping for the very best. Of course, we still keep losing people on our roads. We still keep losing people on our roads, out of bad roads, out of recklessness, out of bad conditions of vehicles. We still keep losing people where we shouldn't. That is another issue that we have. But on a brighter side, there was the celebration and the book launch of prelates, Kofi Mbang, prelate emeritus of the Methodist Church. This happened yesterday. He wrote a book, and he was a good man. That's why I'm actually citing this. It's a good example of the Nigerian we want. Judging by the things said about him, judging by the things one has read about him, judging by people's views generally, and this is very wide all across the country. Of course, he happens to be the very close friend of President Olusegun Obasanjo, who was a convener of that event yesterday, and I had the privilege of anchoring that event. But I'm citing it because we can point to that as the example of all that we have been talking about. What we want is worthy of emulation. The man is 85 years old, and he has done very well, and he's still playing a good role within the community where he exists. So let me leave it at that. But I think it is not all about bad news. It's great news. It's great. We have some pieces of good news all around.
Thank you for reminding us of the good things. It's not always bad, and yeah, thank you, Egbo, for that. Elvis.
By the way, sorry, Vicky. By the way, we are still dancing in quotes now about the GDP. We are still having virtual parties about it. I hope this gets better.
Thank you. Elvis, any update on, we said no update. We call it, what did we call it again?
What's
trending on your side? Yes. What's trending on your side, my brother?
All right. One that caught my attention was, and I know I posted it in our group chat as well, was I'm not sure, did I mention this last week? But yeah, correct me if I did. The proposed installation at the time of the Sultan Shua Arab in Edo State. Did we discuss this last week?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. That was in the news, and there was a lot of uproar around that proposed installation in Edo State. It was a bit odd. People found it a bit odd that someone from that background, coming into Edo State where you have the monarchy there, you've got the Oba of Benin. There was a lot of talk against having that coronation, and I think the governor also, as I read online, kicked against it. I understand in the end it didn't go ahead, but again, I read in Vanguard, somebody making a claim to say, "Oh, look, the coronation had already occurred. They were only trying to have the after party, like a ceremony after the coronation had occurred." But it begs the question, why you leave your own, you leave your territory? I know Nigeria is home for all of us, and we have the right to reside wherever. But in doing so, you also need to be respectful of the laws, the culture and tradition of wherever you find yourself. I can't imagine, and someone going into Sokoto, for instance, to say they want to go and install a Obi of Igbo in Sokoto, or Oba of Ibadan in Sokoto or Kaduna, wherever. So I found it a bit odd, and honestly, it got me worried. I made a post about it on Facebook. I said, what? Could this be another Afanja case loading in Edo State? We all historically know what happened to the Afanjas in Kwara State, in Ilorin. And, it started, I'm sure it started one day, and they got to where they are now. So I found that a bit odd, and given the uproar it generated as well. So yeah, I thought I should share. And the second one is the story making the rounds about channels, TV staff who were summoned by NBC, Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, to Abuja after they had granted an interview to the Governor Autumn, and the outburst he, of course, made on that program, I guess, made some people uncomfortable, and they were invited. I understand they were quizzed, around that interview. But they were later released. They weren't really arrested, as I learned, but they were released. But it also begs the question why summon them to Abuja? Are we still running? I mean, a democracy where people are allowed to air their, freedom of speech, is it still there? Is it still existing? And should they ideally be the ones to be summoned? They should have summoned the governor who made these utterances,
Exactly.
rather than the guys who anchored the program. So, yeah, these were the two that came to fore for me. That's what's trending for me. Yeah.
Did anyone
permit me to react to the two Elvis raised, if you don't mind?
Yes, please.
The first one, which is the purported coronation of a sultan in Benin. I want to express my admiration for the clinical way the Benin people and the government terminated and dealt with that situation. It was a unified thing. It was prompt, it was timely, and it was effective. Messages have to be sent. You don't ride roughshod over people's culture. And whoever came up and said the coronation was done and that was just going on an ego trip. That was just to make himself or his clique happy about it. I dare such a person to now come out and parade himself as such. And then you know that the law exists. I mean, the government came out and quoted sections of the chieftaincy law in that state. And I mean, contravening it was like challenging the government or challenging the law.
The law, yeah.
And so all that, I mean, I'm happy that they dealt it with that, and it's a message. It's a message to all and sundry. So there are certain things you do not think about, no talk of implement in some places. That is one. The second one, which has to do with remind me of this, please.
Channels TV staff.
Channels TV staff. It's an unfortunate development. It's an unfortunate development because, as far as I'm concerned, it is carrying high service to a ridiculous extent. That's what I see. Because now, are we saying that Vicky has invited me for a chat? She is to give me a script of what I should say.
Exactly.
That's what we are saying now. I see it as an affront to press freedom. I see it as an unnecessary grandstanding. Of course, maybe to please the masters. And this is a problem. This is another problem with people in public service at times. Even when the people at the very top, who you think are affected by certain events and activities, even when they probably didn't even see it for starters, or they don't care about what has been said, but in an attempt to preempt, in an attempt to guide seats that they are sitting on, they go out there and do some. I've had experiences of it on this job, at least once or twice. But I mean, I don't know. It's a sad development. It is very unfortunate. But as usual, if the body feels what they've done is right, then we shouldn't be expecting any form of apologies. Anyway, welcome to Nigeria. Sorry.
Yeah, and on that one, I think your assertions, correct as they may be. I also think the government had a hand in it, because I watched the interview Shehu Garba granted to Channels TV after that episode. After Tom granted that interview, he was livid. he was angry, and you know, I just think that the reaction I saw that day may not be unconnected with the fact that these guys were also invited to Abuja for questioning. So I suspect, you know, I think they may also have known something about it, because I listened to that interview and his reaction wasn't very palatable at all. You know, he didn't mince words. He was truly unhappy.
But Elvis, that was Shehu Garba. Now, what were you expecting? It's vintage. Yeah. It's vintage Shehu Garba.
Is that not the guy that has been going to speak to the kidnappers?
No. That's he's a presidential spokesperson.
Okay, all right. Yep. Now, has there been did any of you hear about the Saudi Arabia recruiting doctors? And
Yes.
they stopped it. And there was a guy, one of the guys, I'm not sure what the name is, that said, we have too many doctors in Nigeria anyway. I mean, in Nigeria, as at 2 years ago, 5,000 people to one doctor. That was 2 years ago. So now I'm not sure how many. And we've lost some to COVID, and some had moved overseas since then. Now, those that were even trying to leave to go to Saudi Arabia, that was stopped. Any update regarding that?
Another sad thing that's another sad thing that happened over the week. Within the Constitution, I stand to be corrected. I'm here to find a place where it says, as a professional, you cannot leave the country to practice somewhere else. I'm here to find that. I'm here to find out. But, you know, I also will tell you that I am not the happiest person that our medical experts, our doctors, are living in droves, or they want to leave. I am not the happiest person. Let me put it that way. But as unhappy as I may be, I am not in a position to say, stop them. No. The closest I can do to that is, for God's sake, can we improve our facilities? Can we make these people happy working here? Can the condition be more conducive? Can they work here and not be strained or have fears about giving their children good education at good costs? Can they stay here, work here, and not be bothered while treating a patient that the next rent is coming and it is exorbitant? Can they work here and say, okay, at least I have a functional car that can take me to work and back without having to visit the mechanic every other day? Can they put food on the table of their families? Can they, in other words, can they feed their families without draining their pockets? If some other countries is throwing goodies at them and they are not getting anything close to it here, morally, can I stop them? So this jackboot approach of go there, stop them, scatter them, tear gas them, looks like a movie from the 15th century. We can't defend it. And this is been on. Doctors will go on strike today. That will be prolonged. We will lose lives. We don't care. Patients will be unattended to. Patients will discharge themselves so as to go into private hospitals that are run by the same set of doctors. Now, If this is the situation, they now go on strike. After some dilly-dallying and all that, you sit at the round table, you agree on certain terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 months down the lane, you are reneging. You are not keeping to the agreements. Now, carrots are being dangled somewhere. Apples are being dangled somewhere outside the country. And we are still saying, shut the door, you can't go. I checked the word draconian, and it is looking like it. So it's a challenge, it's a problem. We need to get serious. So many years ago, we had the famous announcement. I'm sure Wale will remember. Our hospitals have turned into consulting rooms. As those words change, I beg, let me stop here.
So yeah, Wale, as recently as 2019, I saw this video where Dr. Chris Ngige, averred that it was okay for our doctors to leave. He actually saw it as Nigeria exporting her resources. I never heard this one before. Honestly, I've got the video. I was just trying to download it here, maybe share it in the chat as well. He actually saw it as a good thing. Like, it really doesn't care if the doctors want to leave, they can leave. We've got so many doctors in Nigeria to the extent that they could be equated to Nigeria actually exporting resources overseas. So the quick, I don't know why they will stop.
Where's the U-turn? Where's the U-turn coming from?
So the U-turn in the sense that, now they're trying to stop people from wanting to leave.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's it's disturbing when our best brains are leaving the shores of our country and going to, contribute their quota in other parts of the world when we should ideally stay back home and, uplift our country and do things that will place our country in a better light. But where you haven't got the means to practice as you ought to, or the resources to practice, or even where you have the resources, you don't get paid. To be honest, I don't blame people who think, okay, the best other alternative for them is to leave. Look at the UK. A few weeks ago, the United Kingdom relaxed their visa rules. I don't know what any of you came across that one. They've opened up for Nigerians or Nigerians with the best brains and those who want to study to come to the UK. They've relaxed their immigration rules where after your study, you can stay for another 2 years and it's a pathway to permanent residency and citizenship. Right. So the smart ones are, taking our best brains, whereas our home country that actually produces these best brains, exactly. I don't know whether they don't see anything wrong with it or whether it's just a lack of will to do the right thing to position our country in better light.
In a better light. Yes. And I'm talking from experience here. As 25 years ago, a doctor in Molue, entering Molue, sitting down there, JJ, and one of his patients at the back will say, "Doctor, I've paid your fee."
Oh yeah.
How does that make you feel after so many years of studying? And I'm talking about 25 years ago. That was 25 years ago, and I believe, Wale, this is another topic that we can actually spend a whole day on. So if we want to pen it down and invite some of our doctors from Australia and all the other places. I live with one and we had to leave because there's no way we can keep living like that and bring children into the world in that place with the way things were that all those years ago. So people wanting to leave and going to places where they are more appreciated, where they get paid the amount that they both agree on,
As at when due.
and as a when due. Exactly. When they can buy a car, when they can pay their rent or even buy a house without any headache. Why would they leave? Why would they go? I mean, spending so many years to study and being treated like this, it's just
Let
not fair.
me, Vicky, let me give you a quick example.
Hmm.
I have an uncle who is over 80 years now. He was one of the first set of medical doctors in this country. He is retired now. He went through this thing how many years ago? Decades ago. He went through what we are discussing, what our doctors are fighting for now. He went through it so many years ago. At a point, because he had a house and he was being threatened because of bank loan. Because of bank loan, he was being threatened. The takeover of the house was being threatened. He had to take a job in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about some over 40 years ago or so now. He had to take a job in Saudi Arabia. That was what saved him. He was there for years, got the money and paid the bank off, maybe in the first 1 or 2 months. Yes. And was there for so many years. He came back and threw his service into our system, and it was frustration left, right, and center. But just as I said, there's still some good news. I still don't want to write us off. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you all. I mean, so Wale, please let's put that at the back of our minds. I will explore this. It's yeah, we call it brain drain. But why are those brains disappearing? I mean, why are they leaving? Why won't they leave? All right, let's get started. Sorry, Mr. Wachuku.
Thank
All
you.
right, let's get
Thank you,
started,
everyone.
Wale.
And as Vicky said, we try and revisit that topic of brain drain. Now, we're talking about doctors and other highly placed professionals that are to, leave the country just to survive.
Including the three of you. Including the three of you.
So, but tonight we're discussing something else. We're talking about the Nigerians are repentant terrorists and bandits. Where is the justice for the victims? So, for the past few years, we've had different stories of terrorists and I'm just not talking terrorists. We're talking about those that have repented and all the goodies, being thrown at them by the government. But you have to, pause and ask, where is the justice for the victims? On Monday, the 23rd of this month, just about 5 days ago, the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, expressed concern about this ongoing trend of, releasing people into the community, especially those that he felt that have not been well screened in terms of to know more about them, in terms of profiling, to know them more before releasing them into the community. Specifically, he was quoted as saying that we should accept people when they come and take the appropriate measures and get the right strategies on how to deal with the reintegration of such people into the community. Don't throw them just into the community like that, because you need to do some other things to ensure that everybody is sanitized. I'm just quoting him directly, so to speak, before they are introduced into the society. So that is that is just the concluding part of that, statement. So, but you think about it and you look at someone who is this, number 3 person in the country, the way that arrangement, the Senate President, if he has such a concern about this exercise, what stops him from using the floor of the Senate to relay talk about it and to debate it with his colleagues and come up with some strategies on how to deal with that situation. So we'll be talking about that topic, of repentant terrorists and other security issues. So I'll go straight to the discussion. I'll go to Elvis. The Nigerian Army introduced a de-radicalization initiative, Operation Safe Corridor, primarily to reintegrate repentant terrorists into society. What's your take on this initiative? Specifically, the initiative they call Operation Safe Corridor, which is more like, the so-called repentant terrorists and getting them released into the community. So what's your take on that program, Elvis?
All right, some statistics, Wally. In July alone, as of July, about 601 ex members of Boko Haram were reintegrated by the defense headquarters into the society. Of that number, you had also about 14 foreign nationals, some of them from Chad, Niger Republic, and the Cameroons. Now, those comments from the Senate President are very, very valid concerns. Rather than undertaking the screening of these individuals, they're actually expending a lot of money to undertake expensive medical screening on these people, and also getting them to swear oaths of allegiance. Now, there is no military in the world except for our home country, Nigeria, that will reintegrate terrorists into the society. In Afghanistan, you had repentant Taliban reintegrated into the society, but guess what? A lot of them, or if not all of them, ended up at the war front. So, just bringing people into the society without doing those proper screening. The screening, honestly, if you ask me, is not even sufficient for you to reintegrate someone who probably has, exterminated lives, destroyed communities, caused pain and harmony to other, individuals and families. It's not. How do you do that? What is the guarantee that these guys are not going to go back to their old ways? A major concern also is the fact that I understand, I don't know how far it is true, some of them are even being given employment either in the army or the military or the police. How safe then is your military when you have people from the other side who have committed all these heinous crimes? You infiltrate your security apparatuses. It's disturbing, honestly. My take on this is rather than reintegrating these individuals, they should ideally be facing the full wrath of the law. I mean, if you're going to forgive and reintegrate people who have committed crimes as heinous as this, you should as well be offering the same reprieve to armed robbers even. Why the selective, amnesty? Anyway, I'm just going to touch a bit on the fact that the Senate, when you mentioned, why the Senate not looking at it, Wally, it may be a scenario where this may fall under the purview of the executives. It may be on their lists to deal with. It may be the fact that the executive or the presidency is the one that has the power to grant amnesty or to forgive people or to, undertake this sort of exercise. That may be what, I'm not sure, I'm not a legal person, but that could also be what may be hampering the legislature from, taking that step. So overall, I think I'm not in agreement with this sort of arrangement. If anything, it exposes our communities, our security apparatuses to more danger, because there's no guarantee that you get, you allow these guys to come back, they're not feeding information back to their you know to their to the affiliate or the organizations where they were coming from originally. There's also no guarantee that these guys have not just been asked by their masters in those terrorist organizations to say, oh, put your hands up, go back to the society, and we're going to plant you there to bring us more information so that we can know how to plan our attacks and do more mayhem to the society. So yeah, I just think it's not a right step in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Elvis. You made important points there. You spoke about selective amnesty. You spoke about the issues around security and the infiltration of most of these repentant terrorists into groups. And people can talk about whatever happened in Afghanistan now after 20 years of U.S. and other allied forces, and now the country was literally the Taliban just walk over, without even a fire being shot by the military that was trained for almost 20 years with almost $1 trillion spent on that. So that's something for that country as well to reflect on, that you train so many people. You can blame Western world for all you care, but Afghans were trained and they spent millions or even not well reported billions of dollars training them. Look at the ease as which the Taliban just took over. That's something. So fundamentally, the Taliban, the so-called repentant Talibans, also were, sympathizers to the Taliban, even though some of them were serving in the military. And that is one other side of, I guess, the debates that has been ignored. People can talk about, U.S. going there, UK going there, but they try their best to stabilize the country. They train military. Many of them sympathizers to the terrorists, and the outcome of them just taking over within a week. We can all know exactly what really happened. So I'll move straight to Egbon Yemi now. Many Nigerians have expressed concerns about modus operandi of Operation Safe Corridor. In other words, the issue of repentant terrorists. Recently, Shewa Bonu Abubakar El Kanemi said it will be difficult to cohabit with insurgents who have killed thousands. So, if repentant terrorists cannot return to their communities, where are they going to live, Ebon?
There has to be a process. There has to be a process. Actually, Elvis has said a lot. There has to be a process. The basis for they embarking on terrorism in the first instance is worrisome. It's worrisome. It's so obvious that quite a number of them have been brainwashed. Quite a number of them who have decided to fight God's war on his behalf and have sown the uniform for the outer space, and they are there killing, maiming, and shooting. I've gone through a process, and they've arrived at a point where you just don't take them from where they are and change the address, and you think all is well. It's a big challenge. Listen, I want to give a lot of kudos to our men in the military. A lot of kudos, because they are doing so much. It's a Herculean task. They are doing so much, and they're sacrificing. They're sacrificing so much. I don't know how often we lose men within the military, But when you now look at a situation where those who keep causing, or who have caused, and they keep causing this harm, this pain, this affliction, and then you just say, okay, you blow a whistle, drop your guns, and then just cross that line, come over this side, and you are welcome. To me, it doesn't make sense. What Lawan said was very, very right. But I think it needs to go a step further. And let's use the platform of the Senate and whatever interrelationship that is between the legislature and the executive to work out something completely. I will not trust any repentant person near the barracks. I won't. I won't trust anybody saying he's repentant after being a terrorist, and then you're now even thinking of integrating them into our own military. Meanwhile, the person is going to be working next with, the person is going to go to battle with, the person is going to even sit at the table to eat, just lost some friends as a result of his own act. And you expect harmony to be within the military? I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it. So of course, I'm on the same page with what Elvis has said. I'm sharing the same views with Lawan. I don't have the legislative power of Lawan. But at least on this platform, one will say it's a wrong move. Yes, we talk of reintegrating even prisoners into the society. But they must go through a process. A simple situation where a petty thief is convicted, is taken to prison, he mingles with hardened criminals, he comes back into the society and starts terrorizing that same society. Gives us a picture. Not to talk of somebody that has seen blood, that has drawn blood, and has not gone through any proper process, not just of the radicalization, not just of opening his mouth to say, I'm now born again, but a proper, I don't know what Vicky's professional people will call it. Is it psychotherapy? Is it a character analysis? We're not doing that. We are more probably interested in, okay, take off that thing and wear this Ashoebi. I don't know. It brings back my question. Jagba Dubai. I'm not sure we are. Because these are obvious dangers. These are obvious dangers. The moment the other side dangles a carrot, they are off again. Let me stop here.
I haven't heard that for
politely.
I haven't heard that phrase for a long time. Moving forward, I go to Elvis. I go to Vicky, and now we want to look at the other side, which is more around the victims. You know, I'm sure Elvis briefly touched on that in his earlier. So we're talking about being able to accept people that have, repented, that they want to do good. But they also mentioned the fact that at the core of terrorism, there's an ideology that drives terrorists to believe in what they do. That there's it's a greater cause to them compared to anything. Do they address that as part of their de-radicalization process? We don't know. We don't know the content of that system. But my specific question to Vicky is around the other side, which is the victim side. It's good that they repented. It is good that they want to do good to the society. But what about the victims? Where is the justice for the victims?
For the victims, exactly. Thanks for that, Wale. as Edmond and Elvis were talking about this, that just took me back to years ago when I used to work for an organization called Australian Community Organization. So, as a professional, then I will be going. I was appointed to be an assessor. So, if somebody is going to be paroled, so Wale, you know what I'm talking about here. So, if someone is going to be paroled, the person is in jail but wants to be paroled because it's been doing good in prison, it's been behaving really well, and wants to go through the process of getting paroled. They want me to go and assess that person. So I need to go through with the person, ask the questions around his history, family history, around the crime he committed, around drug and alcohol, around what may happen where if we release him back into the community, is there going to be, is he of a high chance of reoffending? That's what they want me to find out by assessing this person and writing a comprehensive report. I'm talking about 12 to 30 pages long report, which will be sent to the judge, all right, and all those decision makers to say, okay, yep, this person is rehabilitated, really. And now to support him when he goes into the community, to support him so he doesn't reoffend, we need to put this and this and this into place. Drug and alcohol counseling once a week for the next 6 months. Accommodation, he's got nowhere to stay. No family wants him around them. So we need to organize accommodation for him and make sure that he's all right. Oh, mental health support, counseling and support regularly. He needs a caseworker. All this support will be put into place before we even release him from the jail. So that when he goes into the community, there's support all over the place. That reduces his risk of reoffending. I've talked about the process here. I've talked about what to do. This person has done a wrong thing. This person had gone through the punishment. You know, he's been in jail for a few years. Now, for us to now release him in the community, into the community, we've got to do certain things ourselves because we don't want him back in jail, right? So that's what we call rehabilitation, right? But what these guys are saying to us is these people said, oh, I've changed my mind. I'm not born again. So now let me go. Don't punish me. Is it right for the victims who had gone through the pain, still going through the pain, the PTSD, for those who went through it and probably survived, but the PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder that tends to set in after, they're not able to sleep very well, having nightmares upon nightmares, not able to, not being themselves again. How about the women that are raped by this people? So without putting the victims into their calculations, they just it's like they are the one that send these people on errand, and they've already told them, don't worry, we're going to look after you. That's the way I see it. If not, I mean, here, when someone has done something wrong, or there's something called victims statement. There are times they allow the victims to come into the court to address the court, because it's not just what the police said and what. Okay, let's hear from the victim, and the victim is able to express the pain that they've been through and how it's impacting them going forward. Now, releasing these people into the same community, breathing the same air that these victims are breathing, to me, it's totally wrong. It's morally wrong. It's wrong in every facet of it. Because somebody said, I've repented, does that mean that they shouldn't be punished for what they've done? Does that mean they shouldn't be jailed? What happens to our law that you kill and you shall be killed? I mean, that's the law, right? So if somebody kills, they kill them. So these people killed just because they put their guns down. That shouldn't be their automatic license to be back into the community and be normal again, because they are not normal. They will never be normal. You can't go through killing another human being without thinking of their children, their family, their what these people have gone through. You just shoot and you think you are normal. They are not normal. These people are not normal. And you are releasing them back into the community. What is going to happen? I just pray what happened in Afghanistan, that is still happening in Afghanistan, will not happen in Nigeria. Because that is what our government is doing to the people. And it's so unfortunate that every week they dangle different things to kind of distract our attention from seeing what they are doing. Some people may be watching this now and be saying, or be watching this later and be saying, oh, Nigeria, we want, they are just, they don't know what they are talking about, or they are overseas, they don't live in Nigeria. We can see this. I mean, in terms of working in the system, knowing our system like this work, we are telling you that what is going on is just not right. And it is left for you guys in Nigeria to say, we don't want this. We can't have this. We can't. It's just not right. It's not right. Here, when something like this happen, if somebody, should box somebody else and that person die, or that person gets injured, there is a victims of crime organization that pays lump sum of money to the person or to their family members, as a compensation for the pain. There's nothing like that in Nigeria. Now, people that put these victims into a place that they didn't ask for, they didn't pray for, they didn't want, you are now releasing these people into that community. How would they feel? I just can't. What kind of support are they giving to them? I used to have clients upon clients that victims of crime were paying for their counseling for years. I had one that I saw for 5 years straight. Victims of crime was paying for their counseling. What were they doing for them in Nigeria? Nothing. And on top of it, the horrible people are now being put alongside of them. It's just not right.
Well, thanks very much, Dr. Vicky. So you extensively covered that, and I love the example you gave around the parole process and all the risk assessments and some of the other, including the reintegration assessment that needs to
Mm,
be done before any person that is being deemed or considered for parole can be released into the community. And you made specific points around the victim impact statement,
mm,
that as part of the legal system here, victims are given the opportunity to speak directly from the direct impact of the crime on them, their families, and everything, that they take that into consideration in even making a decision about sentencing and sentencing options. And also, there's also around the victim, in terms of they want to resettle an offender, there's a consideration around how far away a person is done his time in prison, is done all programs, is done whatever, and is going to be released. There's also consideration. Is the victim 5 kilometers away from him? Is he 10
mm,
kilometers away from him? Is he going to be re-traumatized again by walking up to him or meeting him at the local shopping center accidentally? And all the trauma that will come
mm,
with that by just accidentally meeting him in the local bank. they consider all that before they actually resettle an offender. And that is someone that has actually done this time, went through a lot of programs. I'm not so sure exactly the content of the de-radicalization program. Talking about in Nigeria, it's not alien. Even in Western world, it is a practice. They have the radicalization program in Canada, in UK, most of the advanced countries they have it, because no matter how long a prisoner or even a terrorist, no matter how long they stay in prison, most of the advanced countries, there's still the prospect of them being released. And they know that if they are not rehabilitated while in prison, then the prospect of reoffending is very high. That
It's
is the
there, very high.
is very high. But in our case, what do they tell them? And is the military the best institution to usually take people through that form of the radicalization process? And also you think about, and there's this argument about people saying that they surrender, and because they surrender, they automatically, they are, the crime, the heinous crime has to be automatically forgiven. I think there's a lot of people just get that wrong. And I think people are making comparison with conventional wars, whereby someone surrenders, in the conventional war. And obviously when you surrender in the conventional war, no one is going to shoot at you again because you've surrendered. But that doesn't mean that they will still have a look whether you've committed war crimes, even in that state. And even if committed war crimes during the war, there's still a legal process of dealing with that. I think we're mixing a lot of things up. So moving forward, I will go to Elvis, and I know time is fast spent. We spend a lot of time on our initial segment talking about what is trending. We don't normally people don't normally give credit to Arewa Consultative Forum, on some of these issues. And recently, they also came out and they said that, and I'm putting this to Elvis to tell me his take on this. Is it something sincere, or Arewa is just playing politics? They also came out recently. I said, look, they expressed that that there's lack of sincerity on the part of some of the Boko Haram members that are surrendering to the government. And they actually said that they urged the government to prosecute them or to set other terrorist members that are still in custody, to set them free as well. That they shouldn't just allow people because they've surrendered, just allow them, they are repentant. So what is your take on this, Elvis? Is Arewa Conservative Forum known for playing politics on national issues? Are they playing politics, or for once we can say that, okay, we're on the same page with them?
Yeah, Wale, honestly, there's no way to determine for me whether they're paying lip service or they're actually being sincere about the position they have posited. Notwithstanding, I'm still gonna look at the points they have made. They are really valid points. I mean, another example to add to what you and Vicky have stated here, for example, here in Australia is honestly, even when people commit offenses and they have actually done their time and they're reintegrated into society, honestly, the society still doesn't forgive them 100% fully. Why I say that is, once you've done time over 1 year, you have a criminal record.
Of course.
And for every position you're seeking here in Australia, in case you're not aware, even for a cleaning role, you need to get a clean police report before you get hired. You need to have a police report that says, yes, you haven't got any issues against you, haven't got any ongoing court processes. And once an employer sees that, it becomes, if one has anything like that against their names, it becomes a Herculean task to even get through that employment process. And that's why I say, yeah, the system forgives you, but never quite forgives you fully. What then happens in that case is yeah, the government, keep paying you stipends, just to support you, so you can, you can feed, you can have a place to lay your head. But the system never fully forgives you, because no independent employer, even the government agencies, sometimes may not, you don't get hired just like that after you've done time. So yeah, it's a valid point they make, Wally, when they say, "Yep, you should actually go through the process, because you do the crime, you should also be ready to do the time. It's not sufficient to just put your hands up and say, 'Yes, I surrender,' and therefore you get a get out of jail free card, and start walking the streets free as though nothing happened. You start living your life as normal. I think that's really an unfair way to go. It's an unfair scenario. Um, the Arawa guys, whether they're being, factual or not, or whether they're just paying lip service, whether they're just in a situation where, oh, we need to say something in this regard. I'm just going to go with what they have said. And I think, yes, they make valid points. That is the right course of action. And you know, those who are, if you're gonna grant these guys amnesty and say, yeah, walk away, those who are also being incarcerated, those who are, currently in jail, should also get the same fair treatment. So yes, I have no way. I'm not a soothsayer, and I can't read their minds 100%. I can't say, yep, they are being honest, but I do know for a fact that they actually make valid points.
Thank you very much, Elvis, and thanks for that particular reference to that the society, you do your time, but the society, you still still hold you accountable in so many ways. And I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of even people that have really tried to reintegrate and move in and live normal life, but constantly they are reminded about their past by having to go through criminal record check. And as you said, it is the prerogative of an employer to decide whether to employ you or not, especially when you've got someone has a criminal record. I move to Egbon now. I can see Egbon is getting to his car, getting on his way. So, based on what I know, the man is on the move. So, I'll put your final question to you, Egbon. It has to do with the NDA. The NDA was attacked on the 27th of this month, and I could think about the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst in England, and I can just compare, just to even imagine that institution, like bandits or kidnappers going to like Sandhurst and abduct, military officers from that academy and killing them, and the humiliation to that, British institution. How do we get here as a country? How do we get to this sorry state of NDA being attacked by kidnappers and kidnapping officers and even killing officers, a major? How do we get it to that level, especially when we have a current president himself, a retired military major general? How do we get to this sorry state in the affairs of this nation, Egbon?
One of the major selling points for Mr. President when he was contesting was the fact that he was going to deal decisively with terrorism, and he was going to wipe out this Boko Haram thing. But without mincing words, we know that has not happened. It's sad. It's unfortunate. The situation has gone worse. But I'll tell you the scary thing about this, very, very scary thing about this, is that I sincerely hope these guys are not just testing waters. I hope they are not testing waters. I also have my fear that the development in Afghanistan recently might have emboldened them. and emboldened these guys. Because the NDA is not a supermarket. That NDA that was attacked is not a tourist center where you want to go and have fun and all that. And if they were bold enough to pick on that as a target, it says a lot. It says a lot. You'll be wondering what happened to the security networks. If NDA could suffer the same thing as those hapless villagers that are killed almost on a daily basis, if it could suffer such a thing, then where exactly is safe? Where exactly is safe? I can only hope that that message was strongly considered and accepted by the top echelon of our military, and something more decisive will be done. Because if they go in there, kill somebody, I don't know the exact number, and they will actually still walk away with another victim, then I think we are at it. Unfortunately, too, I think we are at a tipping point. But the truth is, we didn't need the attack on NDA to tell us things are not right at all.
Exactly.
We didn't. We didn't. If we could have scores of people killed, and then we just move on to the next thing over the years, there's something is deeply, deeply, deeply wrong. Something scary is going on. And in some other climes, some dramatic things would have happened at the political level. But here, do they care? Do they really care? That is something we need to consider. People will sit tight, whether they are delivering or not. People will not consider resignation as a result of their lackadaisical attitude to service delivery. But I know time is fast spent, and what happened at NDA is that danger signal. The red flags are on, that a lot more needs to be done than what we are doing presently. But please permit me, rehearsals have started. I need to run back to the hall.
Yep, okay. No
All
worries,
right,
Good to
thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, please tell our viewers that Aremu is on at the Glover Memorial Hall tomorrow, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and it's a must watch.
All right. Mr. Wale, please take note.
Okay, thank you very much, Ekmo, and enjoy your time on the show, Aremu. All the very best. And
I'm excited that I'm happy that I've been able to spend a few minutes with you guys. I've missed you so much. But thank you for having me today.
All right. See you later.
I need to run for rehearsals.
No worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, and to do a bit of promo for one of our own, Egmont Yemi show demo, so who is currently busy, which is a Project Aremu, which is a story of the former President General Olusegun Obasanjo. The drama will be on at Global Memorial Hall tomorrow at 3 p.m. So our viewers in Nigeria, please go there and support the industry, the theater arts industry, and most importantly, to support our dear brother, Mr. Yemi Shodimo. So thank you very much. So because of time, I move straight to Dr. Vicky now. You touched extensively on the victim side, and my next question again will be around that aspect. I love the way you approach the initial question. So we're still talking about the justice for the victims. So The justice could be on the part of making sure that the perpetrators are sent to jail and they get the
Mm.
time. But also, let's now focus on your area of knowledge around, trauma-informed counseling and support. Um, how can we support? I have never read that, and I stand to be corrected in the scheme of things in Nigeria. So if we have government officials and policymakers that are listening to this program today, and you just want to give them unsolicited advice on how can they really have a system in place that will be guarded by evidence-based practice around trauma-informed counseling, another form of support to the victims. Um,
See, in Nigeria, the system there is all about when something is wrong, you run to your pastor. You run to your pastor, you run to your imam, and they provide the counseling in the way they know how to. Some of them do struggle themselves with issues to do with mental health, even with PTSD. Some of them are not trained to provide that kind of support and in-depth counseling. Most of them are not actually trained to provide it. They are doing it and using Bible and quoting Bible and doing motivational speaking. So it's not the same thing as helping somebody through that journey, that helping them through with what they experienced and how that is impacting on them today. So what can the government do to help? Now, these days, every day, every hour, there's somebody being kidnapped. There's villages being, people being killed recklessly. There are so many things happening, and there are too many victims to count. I haven't heard the kind of energy the government puts into the bandit is so much. Meanwhile, the victims are ignored. What can the government do? There should be a task force. In the task force will be people that will be going to these places where the bandits have done whatever they've done, talking to the leaders there. And then those that actually need the support will be referred on. So there will be in the task force, there should be assessors, people, their job is to assess, to walk through with them and then refer them on. So there will be levels of, amongst the task force, counselors, psychotherapists, psychologists, depending on how severe. So there are people that are severely damaged by this. There are some people that just keep pushing, keep going, that they just, they had no choice. They just keep going. But unfortunately, these things do have ways of coming back to haunt people. So there should be a place where they can go. Here we have now with COVID there's provision of counseling and support through Zoom, through Skype, through phone. You don't have to see them physically, like face to face. It can be done on using technology. It's there. So there should be people that government are providing some financial help to be able for them to be able to help these people through. There are too many. There are young people that saw their fathers, their mothers being killed. What's going to happen to those kids when they grow up? Always remember that hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt. Some of them, if they are not mentored and coached properly, might turn to be the like going out killing and injuring people because they are damaged. They are mentally damaged. They've seen what they shouldn't have seen. And there are many like that. There are so many people out there that turn into drugs. We know that drugs is now rampant in Nigeria. And there were times that people were actually using cough syrup that has a little bit of codeine in it for because there's something that people are running away from. What do you think will make somebody pick up a drug that they know it can be addictive, but because that makes them feel okay in the immediate, for just a short while, they rather take it. At least I don't have to think about it. That thought is actually quiet now. If I take this, I'm okay just for some time, and they just keep taking more and more. There are so many women that are to do that because they've been raped by these horrible people, or they've been tortured, their husband had been tortured. So many things that, where do we start from? So there should be more being done for victims rather than for the bandits. Bandits, they've done something wrong. They done a lot wrong. They should be punished. Even, yeah, I'm not sure even if it's the Bible said that said it, but I know only cat so bashe I mean, you've done something wrong. You need to be punished. You just don't say, oh, I've put my gun down, I'm not doing that again. Now forgive me and let me go back to living life. What about those that you've destroyed their lives? How about those that you've damaged their families? How about so many? What government should do more to help these people? And there are things that can be done. There are psychologists in Nigeria, there are psychotherapists in Nigeria, there are counselors in Nigeria that can help. They can help. They can help by, counseling them. When you can, I mean, there are times when you feel down, but by having somebody to talk to, not somebody that will go about and telling your stories to everyone, or go on pulpit and start sharing your story. Somebody who has the training, somebody who had been trained that, your privacy is I mean, we know about confidential matters. We don't discuss it out there. This is it, because if somebody should know that I've discussed their matter with you, I may be in trouble. You know what I mean? But when pastors they haven't gone through the training. Just because they are pastors, that doesn't mean that they can do the preaching well, but counseling and support might be another thing. And especially when it comes to traumatic experiences, and the psychological impact of these terrible experiences on people's mental health, they need deeper help. They need more help than what most pastors can give.
Well, thank you very much for that. That very thorough response in terms of needs and support, psychological counseling, and beyond that, whatever form of material support for the victims to be able to pick up their lives, and move on. So I think we've made a good case for the victims on this program tonight, and because their voices are often are not heard in
Mm.
the scheme of things. So because of time, we go to the final words. Before I go to Elvis, I make my final words, and then I go to Elvis. My final word is, in regards to the comments credited to Senator Ahmed Lawan, the Senate President. I understand the process of separation of power between the executive and the legislature, but Mr. Senate President, there's a reason why you are the Senate President. There's something they use the floor of the Senate to do, to discuss topic of national significance, if possible, to come up with bills, get those bills, passed and into law, and then the executive, it becomes their role to implement that. So it is very common in our part of the world when you see people in power and they just run commentaries as if they are so powerless. They run commentary as if, like you and I, as if they don't even have any power to change anything. Even those of us who are even making commentaries there, we believe that we have powers in influencing people and changing opinions. That is why we do this. So for me, when I listen to people in power in government, regardless of whatever arm of the government they belong, when they talk as if they don't have any power, I think sometimes we need to remind them that, look, you are the Senate President of that country. It's good for you to talk to the press and express those concerns. But at the same time, Mr. President, you need to get up and do something. Talk to your colleagues, about what can be done on how to really. You've expressed those concerns, and they are genuine concerns. But beyond that, you can do more. So that's my final words. Elvis, over to you.
Thank you, Wally. Yeah, I'll just take it a notch further from where Vicky stopped. I think the approach the government is adopting, I think it's not the right way to go. Yeah, it's okay to reintegrate people who have committed crime in the society, but it also makes sense that these people, serve their time or be punished for what they have done, and then you can talk about reintegrating them. I mean, putting these people at the forefront at the expense of the victims who have actually suffered the crime, to me, is misplaced priority. Yeah, they can do more by engaging the right set of professionals and not just doing so through the military to ensure these individuals get the help that they need, get the support and succor that they need, so their situation doesn't get worse. And then on a second, the second phase of my final comment to be, I'm going to advocate again for the government to show goodwill in resolving the issues that have, that are confronting the nation today, the security issues. If you ask me, Nigeria is, if it keeps going the way it's going, is on the brink of collapse. And if if the comments of the Navy Commodore Kunle Olawumi, the former Deputy Director of Defense Intelligence, is anything to go by, it's a source, a cause for concern. General Abacha said when he was alive that if terrorist acts go on for, I've forgotten how many days or how many weeks he mentioned.
I think he said 24 hours. He said any insurgents. Yeah.
If any insurgents last for more than 24 hours, it just means that the government is aware of what is going on. Now, he said that. Yeah, I don't want to believe this government knows what's going on, even though, the attitude or the way things are being handled doesn't give me the impression that there's a genuine, intention to resolve these issues. I mean, it is a source of concern, really. And the way, they've approached this issue is more like treating the symptoms and not the actual disease. It's going to keep reoccurring unless that genuine move is made to nip this issue in the bud, so that our lives, or the lives of people at home, can return, if not 100% to normalcy, at least something close to normalcy. So it's the responsibility of government to ensure our lives and properties are protected. So far, the government is doing a very poor job of this, and they need to do more.
Thank you very much, Elvis. And on that note, I hand over the baton.
Wow, another fantastic show that we've had today, from speaking about other things, regarding brain drain, just nipping it on the bud for a preparation for when we're going to actually do the show on it, to now talking about the repentant terrorist, the role of the government so far, and how they've been ignoring the victims and not doing enough to help, not even doing anything at all to help out. And I just hope some of the, if anybody's watching this and they can influence or talk to decision makers about this, something needs to be done. It's just not right the way they are doing it. And they may think that they are safe. They are safe today. Only God knows what tomorrow brings. And, you know, when you are throwing stones, you never know who may be it. Your family member, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. That is why each of us need to do the right thing now. Not about, oh, yeah, it doesn't concern me. It's about them. None of us should be concerned because we're living here, but we are so concerned. And it can sound a little bit, yeah, it's just you guys talking about it. It's not as bad as that, but it looks bad. It looks bad and it smells bad, and something needs to be done. So we want to appreciate all our viewers today, and those that will be replaying this later. We want to say thank you. Thank you for always being there. And to our dear Egbon that came in and spent some time with us, thank you. And good luck with our Remu show tomorrow.
Before you go, I think Elvis has got something to say. A quick one.
Oh, sorry, Elvis.
Yeah, there's a comment there. Yeah.
Yep, Elvis.
Yeah, Vicky, I just want to refresh our memories on brain drain. We've actually, in case you guys have actually had a topic on brain drain previously. At the outset when I first joined the crew. But perhaps, there's nothing wrong looking at it again in future in a different style and fashion. But I just wanted to remind you, actually discuss that. Yeah.
Thanks, Elvis. And thank you both for bringing all your wealth of experience and, bringing different angles into this and sharing and talking from the heart. I appreciate you both. And we just pray that this COVID thing will disappear. Like Donald Trump said last year, it will just disappear. We're still praying for it to disappear. It will just go away. We are still praying for it to go away so we can get back to living life, so we can catch up and go forward, go to Amala joints and just have our chats there. Anyway, it's been good catching up. Looking forward to next Saturday. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but I mean, Wale always brings something out of his non-existent heart. So hopefully something fun, and because we need to mix it all. We can't be depressed every weekend from talking about Nigerian stuff. So yeah, let's find another topic to talk about. So I'm looking forward to catching up with you again next Saturday, same time, and same thing with all our viewers. I appreciate you both. You have a lovely Sunday, and I'll see you next Saturday. God bless you all.
Good night, viewers. Good night, Vicky and Wale.
Bye.
All right, yeah.
The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. All for the land. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show. Yeah, me show the moon. Wale your light on. I've been see what shuku. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. On Vicky O Show. Every Saturday. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we